Hello and welcome to my video today. If you remember, over a year ago, I had a video on how to apply Plasti Dip to the rear emblems on the Fisker Ocean. For example, the Ocean lettering and the one emblem right here. I've had several people request how to do the same thing for the Fisker emblem that's in the front and rear of the car. By the way, the front and rear are the same part number. So in today's video, I'm going to show how to apply the Plasti Dip to the logo. I'm going to experiment and see how thick it needs to be, because since it lights up, I don't want to have it too dark that it blocks the light, since I like the look of it when it's lit up. So it's basically going to have kind of a monochrome finish. I'm going to be using the same black Plasti Dip that I used before, but I may also apply some other coatings to it. So we'll see how that works. Let's get started. All right, these are the things we're going to be using for the project today. Some blue painter's tape, plastic drop cloth. It could be the super thin type. These are available at most hardware stores for a couple dollars. Also, some isopropyl alcohol for cleaning the emblem, along with an old cloth to finish the cleaning. What I'm going to be using today is Plasti Dip. This is the matte black version, pretty commonly found in most stores, hardware stores, Walmart, etc. And this one is for black that I've used on the Ocean and the One logos on the back of the car. So I know this one works pretty well. If you want to use any other colors, they come in gray, silver, variety of other colors if you want. So it's all up to you. I also recommend putting some sort of protection on it. I have a Plasti Dip Glossifier, which is basically a top coat that you put on after several coats of the regular Plasti Dip. This gives UV protection, which is important since your vehicle is going to be sitting outside part of the time, or all the time. And if you want to get extra fancy, you can use some other things such as the Metalizer. So I could use the black undercoating, do several coats of this, then use the Metalizer. That can give it a kind of a neat finish, and then add the glossifier on top. And when you're doing all of these coats, you got to fully wait for each coat to dry before you add a new coat. And also, to make it easier for spraying, I recommend one of these triggers. They are usually a couple dollars online when you order the can, so you might as well pick up one of these. It gives you a lot better control over the spray and the motion of the can. So these are pretty nice to have. All right, let's go out to the car and show you how it works. The first thing I'm going to do is clean the emblem off. I'm going to use the isopropyl alcohol and a t-shirt to do that. The next thing you need to do is protect the area where you're going to be painting or applying the Plasti Dip. You can usually use old newspapers, paper bags, stuff like that. I happen to have some plastic drop cloth that I have since I've been painting my house. So I'm going to attach this to the top of the spoiler, and it'll go all the way down to the bumper, so I don't have to worry about any overspray issues with the Plasti Dip. Next, I'm going to poke a hole in the plastic and spread it out so that the emblem is totally visible. Make sure that you push all the plastic so it's behind the emblem. So you could use like a plastic pry bar to push the plastic back. Here's a close-up of what I'm talking about. Just make sure that the plastic is behind the emblem, all around it. Make sure you shake the Plasti Dip for a couple minutes so that it is thoroughly mixed up. When applying Plasti Dip, you need to do it in broad strokes and very thin coats. The key is to do thin coats, but multiple coats. So you can easily do 4, 5, or 6 coats to get a suitable depth that the Plasti Dip is strong enough to withstand the elements. So that's what we're gonna do now. Another thing I suggest is doing this with a decent temperature outside, above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and also with fairly low humidity. And also do it outside so that you get good airflow, just like you would use anytime with painting. All right, like I mentioned, just very light coats so that you get full coverage when you overlap. Now I need to let it dry for 30 minutes and then I'll do the second coat. And since I'm doing the rear of the car, I might as well do the front. So just a slightly different setup here. I have the same plastic, but I put some painter's tape around the emblem to keep the plastic away from it. That's important because you want the paint to go all the way around these edges. All right, that's good for the first coat. Pretty thorough coverage. Now I'm gonna let this wait 30 minutes. All right, now for the next coat. And now for the second coat. And now for the third coat. And now for the third coat. And now for coat 4. Coat number 4. Time for coat 5. So for the rear emblem, I did 5 coats of the matte black Plasti Dip. On the front, I've done 4 coats so far. I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna be using at least 2 coats of the Metalizer. This will give it a different look. This is a silver Metalizer, but when you apply it to the black is gonna show through, so it'll give a nice metallic finish. So I'm curious to see what it looks like. And the nice thing is, if I don't like this, I can always spray it over again with a couple coats of the regular matte black, or I can remove it and start over again. So it's pretty flexible. So I'm gonna shake this up and apply 1 coat for now, let it wait 30 minutes and put the last coat on. All right, so I'm gonna wait 30 minutes and see what it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna do a 6th coat now, and also I'm gonna have it unlocked so I can see the basic area here. It's a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna aim a little bit more on the bottom. Maybe 1 more coat after this so that I can get everything pretty even. It's a little bit more silver than I really want. So I'm thinking of just spraying some matte black over it. However, this is very much up to the individual how they want it to look. You could use any color you want and you can mix them up. It's pretty flexible. I did make some mistakes. I did a couple of splotches. There's one here and one up there. However, from about a foot away, you really don't notice much. And now for the light up test. There are 5 coats of Plasti Dip on here. Let's see what shows through. Oh wow, you can actually see through it. Let's check out the back. Yep, and you can also see the back. Also gives you a good idea of your coverage. If you need to get some areas like down here, it's a little bit thinner, I can spray more down there. So I'm not too crazy about the silver metallic look. Since a lot of the car is black, I prefer to keep that matte black or maybe a glossy black finish. So I'm going to cover it with another 2 coats of the matte black Plasti Dip. Lastly, I'm going to add a coat of the Glossifier, which is going to give it that UV protective finish. So I did 5 coats of the black, I did 1 of the Metalizer, and then I did 1 more black. Kind of gives it a lighter black look to it, more of a gunmetal gray look. And now I'm going to do the final coat of the Glossifier to give it that UV resistance. So I waited for everything to dry, and now I can take off the protective plastic. I'm going to cut around it. And I'll do the same for the front. So as you can see, the front emblem has a slightly more of a gunmetal look to it. Some of that silver that was underneath is showing. But overall, I think it looks really nice. The beveled edges of the emblem show through, so you still have the look. It's not just a circle. So it has a little character to it. If you make any mistakes, you can easily peel off the Plasti Dip, or if you get tired of it and want to change the color or want to go back to the original, that's one of the great things about Plasti Dip is that it's removable. So there we go for the front. Let's go around to the rear. So I would recommend, if you want the light to show through, I would only do about 3 to 4 coats max. But if you want full protection and don't care about the light showing through, do the 7 to 8 coats. So as you can see, the Glossifier coat that adds the UV layer gives a little bit of a shine to it. If you didn't do that, it would be a matte black. I kind of like the look of this. It gives it a more metallic type of a finish, and I think it came out really nice. And it also goes along well with the Plasti Dip that I did for the Ocean and the One, as you can see here, goes well together. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.